11 years ago, the Obama-Biden administration offered Florida $2.4 billion for high-speed rail from Tampa to Orlando that our former governor rejected. And since a
Mhm.
private company is trying to build something like it, but with no firm timeline, does President Biden's infrastructure plan offer anything to throttle or bring back high-speed rail as the Obama-Biden administration originally planned in 2010?
Well, Craig, it's a little bit of a different package. We're in a different time. There will be a competitive process for competing for some of this funding once we hopefully get this package passed. But there's no question, just like that high-speed rail project would have been, that this is a package and a proposal that will create jobs in Florida, that will invest in clean energy, and that will really make industries of the future something that kids of Floridians today can look forward to working in.
When former President Trump released a preliminary list of projects in his infrastructure plan, which of course never passed, there were no projects in the Tampa Bay area. There was only one in Florida, which had already received the money that it needed to get built. Do or will you have a specific list of transportation projects in this plan in our state and region that would be included if, in fact, it passes?
Well, Craig, once it passes, we want to make sure that there is an opportunity in bidding from around the country for packages and investments from the plan and from the funding from the plan. Part of it will be infrastructure, rebuilding roads, railways, bridges. Of course, as you noted, plenty of those around Florida that could use some repairs. But part of it will also be investing in broadband. Around the country, about 1/3 of people don't have access to broadband. I know there's a high percentage of people in Florida who also have the same struggle in rural areas, city areas. That's something we want to address. Also, getting people clean water. That's another area where this package will help address. So there are certainly going to be projects, some over the short term, some over the longer term, that different parts of the country will be looking to bid on. But there also will be pieces that will impact people across the country broadly.
Prior Republican plans relied on tax credits for private companies to do much of the work, which would
Mhm.
have been paid for by us in the form of more tolls or user fees. Does the president's plan include any private partnerships that could, in fact, result in additional tolls or user fees on top of the multi-trillion-dollar public investment?
That's not how the president's proposing to pay for this historic investment in infrastructure. He believes that by raising the corporate rate from 21% to 28%, back to what it was right before President Trump took office, by disincentivizing people sending jobs overseas, we can pay for this package. Those are ways to make the corporate proposal, corporate system fair, and it does not need to be and should not be on the backs of consumers and people driving around just trying to make ends meet.
When it comes to transportation taxes, Florida's lagged a lot of other states in terms of what it gets in return from the federal government, partly due to our comparative lack of mass transit. If the new tax proposals and the infrastructure plans pass as the president envisions, would Florida be a donor state here? In other words, would we send more new tax dollars to Washington than the value of the new work we would receive in return?
That certainly is not our intention, Craig. Obviously, there's a lot of road to travel before we get this package passed. We're just introducing it and proposing it today. And I'm certain that members of Congress from across Florida will have lots of views on what they want in and out of the package. But what we're largely trying to do here is create millions of jobs across the country, invest in industries and technology of the future, and address some of the gaps that we think have been in place for far too long. Lack of broadband access, the 231,000 bridges across the country that need repairs. And that's what we hope this plan will do, while also doing it in a way that creates jobs and is clean energy jobs.
The transportation secretary floated the concept of a user fee or miles driven each year, and you'd be taxed based on that. Is that or is that not part of this particular plan?
It's not part of this plan. This plan is the way the president's proposing to play for it is through making the corporate tax system fair by raising the rates from 21% to 28%, what they were right before the Trump administration and what they were for parts of the Bush administration several years ago, and also making it disincentivizing sending jobs overseas. We're not going to put the pay fors on the backs of consumers.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Great talking with you.